What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what's really driving it higher, and give you a quick summary of the conference that did occur yesterday. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. Starting off, Lucid is up a pretty impressive 3.45%. Market's been open roughly 30 minutes, 4.16 million shares being traded, 36.8 is the average. You are seeing some attention from institutions. Based on this, there's been 3 so far above $100,000 today, and 2 of them are buys. So big money is kind of looking at Lucid and just the broader market. Dark pool seems to be very popular, and that is linked to shorting. I'll talk on that in a second, but interesting point, there hasn't been any news today associated to Lucid. Rather, it is just piggybacking off of this. So yesterday it was 14%. Right now there is a 47% likelihood of a 50 basis point cut. So that is for the September 18th meeting. But what is even more interesting is for the November 7th, there is a anticipated further 50 basis point cut. So roughly 2 days ago when CPI came out, you had a lot of analysts starting to chirp saying that interest rates are going to be down by 1% in 2024. A lot of people just said, no way, that's BS. There's no way that's going to happen. But turns out maybe it might be accurate. So once again, that is what is really fueling a lot of growth stocks today and everything else. So like I said, no actual news. One thing that really did cause a lot of volatility yesterday was 2 things: analyst ratings as well as this. So of course, Lucid investors, we all like to speculate on various things. The latest, rumor was the fact that Lucid and Hyundai were going to have some form of partnership or licensing agreement or something like that. But turns out Hyundai kind of quashed that yesterday. So they did sign a MOU with GM. And so yeah, that's going to be for production and various things like that. So clearly that's another one of those Fugazi rumors that just got kind of brushed under the, or overblown, if that makes sense. Aside from that though, quickly popping over to IBKR, these are some of the latest ratings, and all of these are as a result of the recent tech and manufacturing day. So you have $4 that came out yesterday, 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧, Stefan, who has a 38% success rating, so not all that great. Aside from that though, you had the 2 that I brought up yesterday, or 2 days ago, Bank of America, as well as Needham, but RBC somehow snuck in. Tom, who has a 43% success rating, gave a $3 price target. So all in all, still not the same level of optimism that I truly would like to see coming from analysts, but what do I know, right? There was that conference that did occur yesterday, so I want to give you a quick summary of that. So in case I did live stream it on the side note if you guys want to kind of pop over and listen to that. But generally, just to save you guys 30 minutes. So ultimately, China is a no-go. And honestly, you can tell that Peter was getting somewhat attacked, but he didn't really stutter. He was very confident. And I really like this new version of Peter. Hopefully this upcoming earnings, you don't see any stuttering and he's very confident, because it gives us as investors a sense of, hey, he's actually speaking the truth. He's not uncomfortable and everything like that. But getting back to it, so China is basically a no-go, too much competition. So I think that's kind of good, if that makes sense. I did bring this up a couple of videos ago about the latest in EV stats, and China sales were up 33% in July. So there's a lot of demand, but I do agree with Peter that there is a hell of a lot of competition out there. So ultimately, that's kind of a spoiler alert. Once again, he kind of talked on technology, pretty much piggybacking on what was said during that tech and manufacturing day. One thing that he did say was that the TAM on the Gravity was going to be like 2x of the Air. So that's kind of what was forecasted. So you can kind of see right here, this was their original projections from 2021. So you can kind of see the Air in this, maroon or light brown color, and then the dark brown color is the Gravity. So you can clearly see that Lucid forecasts a lot more kind of demand from the Gravity than the Air. So rightfully so that the TAM would be 2x. So in reality, that would be very good for Lucid's bottom line. So they really need to kind of get on top of that sooner rather than later, in my opinion, and especially with rate cuts, that does mean that consumers' buying power is increasing. And so, of course, they might be in the neighborhood of looking for kind of a Gravity or that kind of price point. And one thing that Peter did state was that he did confirm that the various other Gravity models that will be coming out in the foreseeable future, didn't really give a definitive date, but that is ultimately going to be below 80,000. So this version that's going to be unveiled sooner, probably in the next month, I'd say, is going to be around 80,000 as a target. So that is good, because I believe, don't quote me, but I believe the actual tax credits is based on a limit of 80,000. So hopefully the Gravity is 79.9, and then that way they can get that EV tax credits, which once again would really incentivize people to kind of focus and go towards a Gravity. So that's one thing that he really did state. And in reality, like the analyst, I don't remember his name, but the analyst that did and was questioning him, he kind of pinned him down and asked about partnerships. So Peter didn't really answer that to the best of what I would have liked. So he didn't really give that much, I guess, optimism on, I guess, partnerships, which maybe it's rightfully so. The fact that Hyundai isn't really following through. And on a side note, he actually did say that last earnings that a lot of companies don't really understand Lucid's technology, and maybe that's why they're not really going towards it. So I think it's just a matter of time. Hopefully Lucid really does ramp up on production. That way a lot more other kind of entities will look inwards at Lucid and really want to partner with them, because that's, like I stated during that tech and manufacturing day, that was my biggest kind of devil's advocate point. Is, well, if your technology is so amazing, why isn't people lining up to do that? So I think just Lucid needs to work on that a little bit more. But yeah, basically that's a quick summary of the conference. I really do recommend you guys listening to it. It was very good. Same goes for the tech and manufacturing day. It is a little bit longer, like an hour and a half, but still a lot of good information. Moving on, shorts right now are increasing 1.23 million shares. 28.44% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 255.06 million shares. So another day that shorts are really doubling down. Utilization is 92.78. Short score is 83.57. Cost to borrow is a little bit lower than what it has been over this last week, so 6.97, and that is just because of simple supply and demand, so more available shares, so cost to borrow does drop. Looking at options, again, market's been open roughly 35 minutes, 236,000 in calls, 215,000 in puts. 50% of all the options so far are optimistic and bullish, but then again, with shorts increasing, that's just some hedging going on behind the scenes. This is the current open interest. So you do have at the 350, 4,000, and then at the $4 strike price, 15,000. So of course, I think there might be some manipulation that does happen coming from shorts to ensure that Lucid does close below that $4 mark. So kind of just stay tuned for that. And I've already brought up these 2 points. I'll just quickly hit refresh just to see if there's any other new ones. Nothing for there. And dark pool, there seems to be a little bit more. So dark pool, obviously very popular, linked to shorting. Aside from that, right now with it at 399 and change, it is trading between this pivot and R1. So 393 will be the strong support, and the flip side, $4 will be that next strong kind of resistance. So definitely watch for that to kind of break above that. But like I said, shorts might really ensure that it does kind of stay below that. Aside from that, on the actual chart itself, still a higher percentile of the boiling band, above all the key pivotal moving averages, especially that 50-day moving average, and stochastic, you do see it at 49, so it's kind of neutral, not overbought nor oversold. And number of retail investors, despite the bump up in the stock price, have been getting out. So yeah, what's your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below? Did you guys participate in that conference yesterday? And if so, what was some of your key takeaways? Did I miss anything of value, or was there anything that stood out to you? One thing that I did mention during my live stream, it would have been nice if Peter actually did drive a Lucid itself, an Air, because he did state that he drives a Lotus, which again is a nice vehicle. No, no hint or hate towards him or anything like that, but still it'd be really nice if it was a Lucid. But still, other than that, let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. One final thing, make sure you guys definitely do take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Link to that is in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.